Hey everyone, this is my Patreon-powered reaction to the 8th episode of Zetsuen no Tempest. Now, last episode was called First Kiss, and yet there actually was not a first kiss, so strangely misleading title. There were attempts at it, sure, a couple attempts, but although Aika could have done it at one point, she decided not to. Why she decided that, we can only really speculate on, but the fact of the matter is we did not see it happen, so clearly there's a reason. So let's get into this episode and see. Maybe it'll be delayed. Maybe this episode will get that first kiss. Probably not, but you never know. So let's find out. 3, 2, 1, play. This is my barrel. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Oof. I wish I could just like jump through fire at some point. There's really not a lot of situations in your day-to-day life when you get to do that, so I think it'd be cool to be able to try it once. Especially attacking an opponent on the other side of it. That's what makes it the best. How many times have we seen that picture on his phone? Feels like a lot. The tree. It's quite a glorious tree, is it not? But is it a good tree or a bad tree? That is a question. Yeah, they seem to be serious about this. Well, you probably it's probably warranted, is what I was trying to say. Their thing blowing stuff up. Seems like it. Well, hope they brought a lot. Love how determined Hakaza is. Yeah, that I cannot imagine how horrible that would be to walk in on. There's a joke there somewhere, but I will not make it. It's a very odd position she's in, honestly. Her corpse, that is. So, I would like to get some more insight into what happened there. Of course. Some serious military over here. Nah, we got plenty of episodes left, don't worry. I don't see a lot of typing from you, man. Are you doing your job properly? Better not find YouTube on your Firefox tab over there. I thought she said 10 at first. Like she's gonna do a countdown. But yeah, it's time to fire. Just bring in all the guns. Let's see your barrier take this. It probably can, but still. Gets their attention. Just be careful not to get hit by any of those artillery firing. Yeah, that big army over there, you deal with that. I guess there's no point in the kind of flush now. Yeah, it's out in the open now. Now that they're trying to come down and chop it down. Yeah, you can now see it. She stands out so much here. For multiple reasons. And yeah, with a creepy fruit around it. A very creepy fruit. Now let's see if we can get to it more easily than the military. How dare they? Come on, you can break through that. See, there you did it. Did it so much easier than military, but I guess it took a lot of talismans. Yeah, no need to run or hide. I think it's a little bit too early for a checkmate, but hopefully it goes well enough. I'll settle for a check. Just keep shooting. I'm sure it will work. I could have told you that. Have you never seen an anime before in your life? Yeah. They can do nothing but sit there and defend. Which is enough if they can do it long enough. Ignore all the gunfire from outside and continue to do your job. So pretty much just a normal working environment. Gotta be annoying just to have the military keep knocking on your door like that. Of course, they deserve to be annoyed, so no problem there. Oh no, a barrel. That's... I don't think I've ever been so scared of a barrel before. What could that possibly be about? Barrels always have significant things in this anime. Yeah, I think your brother's in front of us, so what do you want us to do about this? Throw rocks at him? Yes, I would like to speak to Oni-chan, please. Well, we have our own Kusaribe representative on speed dial, so... I suppose that works. Yeah, it's my little friend. Yeah, putting her on an island's not gonna stop her. Yeah, how does that sound, man? So is this checkmate, Summon? Sounds like a threat. Hey, we're past your barrier, so what more can you do at this point with defensive magic? No, just kill you. If you expect us to believe that, you better do a better explanation than that. Huh. Well, did not know that. I mean, you say that, but I mean, I don't really understand the situation enough to comment on it, I guess, but I want to hear the princess's side of this. That sounds like a good thing to me. Well, I'm okay with offering you. Well, at least we'll have a nice tree. Not too bad if we could just start off with a more complete world. More logical. But would that be a bad thing? I don't know if it would be. We should give it a try and find out. So, at least it seems like less of a black and white situation now. Basically just a conflict of ideals. Well, apparently they didn't come to an agreement. So there's some debate over what the Triogenesis will actually do. Either way, I'm sure the trees fighting is not a good thing. I'm still sure that's the worst case scenario. Because what's currently happening now is costing people their lives, so. I don't think we're gonna come to an agreement here. All he really cares about is revenge, so I don't think he cares about the rest of the world. Yeah, they don't really have a good enough understanding of the situation to make a decision here. Although maybe my hero does. Well, yeah, of course. Okay, so she was clear about it. To him. And nobody told Yoshino about it. But I guess it wasn't important. I definitely get why he didn't tell him. I wouldn't say that. I think Akaza has a couple of assets and makes her more persuasive. Yes. Yeah, the unimportant things we'll deal with that later. Glad to see my hero's convictions aren't being more wavering at all. Yoshino's a different question though, because he did find this out for the first time now, so. The world does seem to be siding with the princess. I think that's pretty clear. I think that is pretty clear. So what's in the barrel? What is in the barrel? Oh, well, that was a cool transition. Such a lucky barrel, isn't it? I'm aware of that. I'm not sure that's a good way to put it. I mean, if the Tree of Genesis killed his sister for this, I think that would upset my hero quite a bit. But seriously, what's in his barrel? Why did he bring it? Is it just a skeleton? Because I don't know why that would matter. Unless he's just going to reveal that it's my hero's sister in front of him. He technically said that, but that wasn't what he was trying to focus on. Yeah, if it just has to fill in a few cracks, it should be fine. But yeah, if it's bad enough that it needs to be completely renewed, then maybe that's not bad either. Yeah, so what will you do, Yoshino? Because you seem to be wavering here. Meanwhile, the military's still doing their thing. Boom, boom, blow, blow, boom, boom. Just a third. You don't have to do it all, just enough. Do enough. Can you take on the whole military, though? Well, she's not, so. Because he has a communication with her, unlike you. That's not true. I see her sitting on the barrel. You're talking about somebody else. Well, yeah, here's the skeleton, but it's not the princess, though, because she's on the island. All I see is you have a skeleton with you, dude. I saw the princess and she's a lot more attractive than that. That person seemed to have died from a head injury. Bad adventure, I guess. Because that the skull looks very damaged. Yeah, you kind of this is kind of a hard argument for you to make. I have seen attractive ghosts, so that is possible. Are you saying she's all skin and flesh? Well, then clearly it's somebody else's skeleton that's also stranded on the island. Don't try to get in my head. Yeah, what exactly are you trying to say? You're just gonna say she's a figment of our imagination, are you? Well, yeah, clearly. But that doesn't answer the question about what he's trying to get at here. You're not gonna introduce some time travel shenanigans here, are you? Because that's gonna make things a lot more complicated and hard to follow if they're gonna do that. I didn't hear you over the thunder. But apparently it was shocking, so... Apparently, she must be, like, trapped in the past or something, I don't... Yeah. So not that long ago, but long enough ago. So... What does that mean, though? She just straight up has a phone call into the future. I'm having difficulty wrapping my head around it as well, so don't feel too bad. Okay. I feel like this shouldn't be possible, but... So... That does answer the question, she's never getting off that island, I guess. Remember, I asked about that before, like, at any point in the series, she's just gonna get off the island, but... I guess not, not alive. At least. Okay. Okay. So, I'm just trying to get this straight in my head. So, she established communication with my hero by the message in the bottle, right? So, that floated around for a while. A couple years, I guess. My hero got it. And then, because of the magical nature of it, when he got it, was able to reach out to the version of her that existed at the time that she made it. I'm having trouble really grasping this, how this would work. I guess I should just say, you know, it's magic, I don't got to explain nothing. I should probably just think of it like that, but... So, I guess Junichiro was right. I feel a little bit bad for questioning him, but yeah, I guess that was in fact her skull that he was caressing there. And that is the same barrel. Just, I don't know. A lot to take in. So that was the 8th episode of Zetsuen no Tempest. And I know a lot of stuff happened this episode, but that's kind of what's on the tip of my mind, so I'll have to skim through before I can really mention other things. But, oh yeah, the tree conversation. Okay, so we had a hint before with the conversation between Junichiro and Natsumura They said something to the effect of, they must not know that, in fact, the Tree of Genesis is the one that's going to be causing problems, destroy the world, and all that. And I wasn't sure what to make of that at that point, because that's the first time we ever heard any possibility that the princess could be on the bad side of this conflict. I didn't really think much of it, but the fact that Junichiro said it gave it a lot of credence, of course. If just like Natsumoto or someone said it, it wouldn't matter that much. But it was the fact that Junichiro said it that it gave it an instant impact. And we definitely elaborated on that in this episode, which I was hoping we would, so that was good. Okay, so this is another thing I'm trying to wrap my head around. So the Kusaribe clan, they're all about maintaining order and logic of the world, right? So they have the Tree of Genesis. So that's supposed to be their thing, right? They protect it, they make it flourish to so the world can continue to function or whatever. Okay, but apparently doing so has the potential risk of getting the world to be remade. Like, I guess if the tree decides the world's beyond saving, it's too illogical, because it is currently at least somewhat illogical, then it will just wipe it and start anew. But the princess, and that's what someone is in his faction are afraid of. But the princess believes that the world is not beyond saving. The tree will just fill in some cracks and improve it. Like, it won't completely tear down the drywall. It would just kind of get some, whatever you use to fix drywall and just fix up a little bit. So that's my understanding of it. If I'm wrong about any of that, then it's not a spoiler. Be sure to let me know. But that's kind of how I see it. So basically, it's not a matter of the princess wants the world to be redone, which is kind of what I thought maybe. No, she just doesn't believe it will happen like someone does, and that's apparently been a big debate within the clan. And clearly, we did not come to an agreement on that. We just kind of, developed their own factions with different beliefs, I guess. And the princess was put on an island because she didn't agree with Samon. So that's why that happened. And the military made their move faster than someone expected, apparently. They just went up to the barrier, started blasting at it. It's going to take a while to get through it. Possibly we'll run out of ammunition before they do. So that's kind of a bit of a non-factor. Well, I wouldn't say that. They're clearly worried about it. I don't remember exactly what, I think it was Tetsuma, said in regards to it, but he was concerned about them managing to do something to mess things up. So that's why he wanted Natsumura to wipe out a third of them. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was a little bit concerned about something and wanted some of them gone. So I guess they have some relevance here, which is good. And yeah, as soon as I saw the barrel up there, I was like, okay, something big's gonna happen in regards to that barrel. What I imagined was him pulling out the skeleton and saying, hey, this is your sister Aika's skeleton, so what do you think about that, my hero? That's the only thing I could imagine. I wasn't like super confident that would actually happen, but that was the only thing that I could really think of as a possibility. Like, nothing else really made sense to me. But yeah, they've definitely been talking about this whole skeleton a lot, and he kept trying to act as if that was Hakaze, and that was her corpse. He found it from the island, and she's dead, and tried to pass it off to everyone. And every time he said things like that, I was like, no, that's not true, guys. Just go to the island. You'll see. You'll see she's just fine. She talks to them on the walkie-talkie, the wooden walkie-talkie. It's fine. She's okay. Don't worry about it. That's not actually her. That's like Aiko or someone else. No, it's not her. So that's kind of what I was thinking, but apparently I was very wrong on all of that. Because once he got to the point where he was like, and even talking to people that he knows for a fact have a direct line of communication with Hakaze, he was still trying to pull this crap of, yeah, this is totally Hakaze's body. By the way, I went to the island and I got it, so she's dead. So this is her skeleton right here. I assure you, she's dead. When he was trying to pull that with those people that should like be able to easily confirm that's not true. Like, hey, Hakaze, are you dead? No. Okay, good. See? She's totally not. Once he got to that point, I was like, okay, there's definitely some truth to this, but I couldn't imagine where the discrepancy lied. Like, what was the thing here? So, a ghost was the only thing that came to mind, really, but they kind of talked about that and said, no, that's not the case. You're not a ghost, although it's not impossible. I have seen anime with ghost girls before, like, Yuragi So no Yunasan, for example. So yeah, that's certainly a possibility, but that was not the case with this show. She's a they actually mentioned how long she had been on the island, which is 4 months. At least that's how long she believes she's been on the island, but it's so hard to talk about, to phrase things right. But basically, in current day, she is dead. But the Hakaze that they're talking to is not dead because that Hakaze is not in current day. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly how that works, but I get the overall situation, I guess. I just want to know how exactly that's even possible. So, but I guess it doesn't matter too much, and even if it did, they would probably explain it. But it's just, time travel's always a very complicated thing when it comes to fiction because there's different theories about how it works, and you always have to figure out what theory that any given piece of fiction is using, whether it's like closed loop theory or whatever. So it always complicates things a lot whenever you introduce time travel as a concept into a show, and that's what we're getting here. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, currently she's dead. They're not going to be able to like go to the island and say hi to her or get her off the island, so that's apparently off the table. I don't know if it's possible to save her, like if we do things differently. Like I said, time travel is complicated. I don't know if they can like deal with the situation here and then time changes and they're able to go save her instead of just having her die on the island. So, how did she even die anyway? Like, if she can catch fish and stuff, she should be able to survive, like, just fine on the island. So, I don't know how she died. I don't think he specified that. He probably should have specified that. But either way, hopefully they can rescue her. But it's not looking great, honestly. But no, like yeah, that wouldn't be able to be possible at all because they couldn't both exist there, and she already exists there in the form of the skeleton, so she couldn't also exist there in a form of it's so hard to wrap my head around. But you know, unless they did like some sort of like parallel timelines, like combining, maybe they could do something like that. But I don't know. I wouldn't count on it at all. I don't believe that's going to happen at all. Just something I was thinking about. But yeah, it's a lot to take in for sure. So if that's the case, then yeah, I have no idea why they killed Aika. Like they talked about that a little bit in the episode about how the Tree of Genesis might have done that because that caused a chain reaction that led my hero to fighting for the Tree of Genesis, and you know, for the saving the world and all that. But I don't know. I don't think it would be that simple. Who knows? And even if it was, I mean, it's still just a puppet master kind of thing. There's still an actual person that did it, so there should still be somebody for my hero to get revenge by killing. Still no idea who that is though, or why they killed her. Because if killing Aika was some big thing that benefited the Tree of Genesis, then the Kusaribe clan, the kind that are siding with Samon, they wouldn't have a reason to kill her if it would have helped the enemy. So, and I was pretty dead set on it being somebody of his faction, you know, with like-minded people that did that. So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. I think I'm even less sure about what happened to Aika now than I was before. So kind of a slate's just kind of been cleaned off in that regard. So yeah, I still have no idea what happened to Aika. Still a very suspicious way that her corpse was when my hero found her. Like it really does come across as looking like somebody that killed themselves. Like the way I don't know, the way her corpse was, it just really felt like that to me. But I don't see why she would do that unless she was just so conflicted about how to deal with Yoshino and my hero relationship wise. I don't know why she would do that, but that's the only thing I can really think of with that weird position she died in, like an oddly peaceful kind of position. I don't know. It was weird to me. So I do want to get a real answer to that at some point. It doesn't have to be anytime soon, I guess, but I would like it at some point when it's relevant to do so. When it's fitting, you know, when it's appropriate. So yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know. This another big thing with the episode is that this reveal about the trees and all that didn't waver my hero at all. But Yoshino's a different matter entirely. He did not know about this. My hero apparently had been told about this by the princess, so that's good. That tells us that the princess is not trying to be super deceitful or anything like that. She just told my hero the situation, her thoughts on it, her perspective, got an agreement going, and they were together now. And the only reason that Yoshino wasn't told is because my hero knows him well enough to know he would be a giant pain, you know, trying to think about the morality of this and whether or not what he's doing is right or wrong, or if he's fighting for the right side, you know. And he did not want to deal with any of that nonsense, so well, he didn't tell him. But now Yoshino knows, so what will Yoshino do about it? Will he switch sides to Simon? That's hard to picture, but not impossible. depending on what he believes here. So that's a thing that we're gonna have to deal with. But I mean, first they have to accept the situation with Hakaze, that she's no longer like in their timeline. Like she's dead now, even though she's like a fully sentient voice in the past that speaks to them in the current timeline. So I guess they still have to swallow a lot of that before we can worry about that. But anyway, it was a very eventful episode, a lot to think about for sure. It's good to know that Junichiro wasn't wrong, I guess, as well. Someone's doing a pretty good job of buying time, if nothing else, in this situation, which is kind of what they have to do. He does have the high ground, so I don't know how they defeat Sanbon, honestly. I mean, he's basically won. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, the specific, apparently the Iron Syndrome thing. They said that was caused by that was like a preventative measure from picking the fruit. I think he said so. That was a result of like the both trees fighting. Basically, I think is what he was trying to say. Because I think that's what it was. I don't think any tree would normally do that by itself. There'd be no reason to. So yeah. Yeah, so regardless of what you believe the Tree of Genesis is going to do, I don't think summoning the Tree of Exodus is a good thing. I think that's objectively a bad thing. It's causing a lot of people to die unnecessarily. So, I don't know. I'm probably more with the princess than I am with him if I'm at this current time. But then again, I'm not as familiar with the situation as either they are. So, I don't think I can make as an informed decision as them. But that's currently where I'm standing. I'm still with the princess on this. That's just my opinion on the matter. And next episode, I guess we'll get to see what Yoshino decides on this. Because I don't think we got any solid opinion from a Yoshino yet. Just, him thinking about where My Hero stands and all that. So, yeah, very interesting stuff, for sure. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time.